I'm Joey.
I'm Lori.
We are Christ-centered marriage and family. We had a lot of ideas for new videos, and I actually had something ready to go, but we're going to go in a different direction. I have another YouTube channel that mainly a Bible teaching channel, and kind of talking about Christian topics. I've decided to go a whole different direction with that because we've kind of gone a whole different direction in our life, as far as our church life goes, I guess you could say. Um, So we have gone to Reform Covenant theology direction. We'll talk about it in a minute. So my other YouTube channel is basically a Reform Christian teaching, kind of like Reformed Baptist. We're not Presbyterian. We're more of the Reformed Baptist now. So my other YouTube channel, I'll reference that in my comments. So check out my comments to see my other YouTube channel, and she's going to be in it with me on occasion. But I am going to be doing Bible studies, Bible teaching on a Reformed theology basis. So if you're into that, or if you're interested in that covenant theology, look me up. I'll leave a reference to that. It's called Keeping It Reformed for Christ. So anyway, I'm working on a book, and for the next month or so, maybe 2 months, I'm going to be covering some of the topics in my book. But like I've said before, if you've seen our videos, I'm not going to read the book.
Nope.
I might read a small percentage of it, but if there's a chapter, it's 15 pages on something, I might read maybe half a paragraph. So next week, I think we're going to talk about the importance of children in marriage. We're going to discuss that. That was what I was going to do, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a clip from a video on my other channel, because she's in it, and talks about our transition from one church to another. Uh, I think I'm gonna have, um, a video on what Peter says about the wife as a weaker vessel. Cause certain individuals, famous YouTubers, did a, video on First Peter chapter 3 about how the wife needs to fear her husband. And I'm like, ah, I wish that person would have done the one where he said, love your wife as the weaker vessel. So we're going to do that. In a couple of weeks, we're going to do a video about that. That's in my book. That's in my book too. Um, and I'm going to do a video about the excellent wife. The Proverbs, what is that? Proverbs, the excellent wife.
31.
Proverbs 31. There's been Bible studies about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole ministries. Proverbs 31 woman.
Yeah.
We started studying that, and we think, she's kind of busy, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's not the stay-at-home
Superwoman.
superwoman. Proverbs 31 woman's a superwoman. I'm gonna do a video about that too. Um, and then I'm gonna do one about the three-chord union. And I have a chapter in my book. You can't have a good marriage book without saying something about sexual intimacy. Look, I'm not like some of these books. I'm not gonna get into the gory details, but you can't have a good marriage book with saying something about sexual interaction, right? You gotta have something. So there's a little bit about that, and it's Bible based. Bible based. It ain't. Well, you know what I hate?
Graphic.
Yeah, is when these Christian writers think they gotta, talk secular about sex. So I have a chapter in my book about what Paul says to the Corinthians, First Corinthians. So if you're familiar, I think it's chapter 7. If you're familiar with that, I have a chapter about that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that in one of my videos. But today, I'm going to share a section of the video I did yesterday. We did to where she was in it for about 15 minutes. And we were talking about our change from the Southern Baptist Convention style church to a fully reformed church. What a change. And both of us had been through a lot of changes in our life as far as our Christian faith goes. She grew up Catholic. I grew up Southern Missionary Baptist. So super dispensational, super Zionist, loves Israel, and waiting for the rapture and all that stuff. That's what I grew up. I'm not like that anymore. We're reformed, so we're totally against. I mean, not we're
against it.
yeah, we're totally away from that. We're totally the opposite of that now. Covenant theology. So you may say that all you guys like that replacement theology. That's what you're Calvinist. Now, I don't claim either one.
Mm-hmm.
If you call me Calvinist, that's fine. Whatever. So that's what we are now. She was Catholic, and then she became Baptist early in her 20s, and so we're not in our 20s anymore. We're quite a few years past that now. So we're gone from dispensational Baptist to straight up Reformed. And so we're going to talk about that in our video that I did last night. And here in a minute, we're just going to transition into that. So there's going to be a break. It's going to be kind of an abrupt break, and then we'll do a little conclusion at the end. So real quick before we do our break, what is your first impression of the Reformed Church?
Well, after the first time we went, the first word that came to mind was reverent, serious. They take the worship service seriously. It's not showy. And after we've been going there for a while, the phrase that comes to mind is it Paul talking about in chapter 13, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, where it talks about milk.
Yeah.
Being fed milk and not meat. And so that's kind of what I think of. I feel like I've been getting milk for 20 years, and now I'm finally getting meat. That's kind of what I feel like.
To me, it's like you're not there to get entertained. And you hear these churches, I don't care what it is, Church of God or Pentecostal, non-denominational Baptist, you say, we're not here to entertain you. You're not here to worship for yourself. But I mean, I hate to say it, most of these churches, that's what it is. Most of these churches, you are there to be entertained. And not this Reformed church. There's Reformed Baptist church, maybe even Presbyterian too. You're there to worship God. I think that's, other than some of the chapel services I've been to in the Air Force, this is probably the first time in my life that I can say we were worshiping God at that Reformed church. It's amazing. I love it. So anyways, anything else before we're going to take a break here, and I'm going to go straight to my clip. Okay. Well, all right. Well, watch this clip, and we are still doing marriage and family videos, and we're going to get back to that soon, but we just wanted to share this video with you about last night. So I'll thank you and God bless you. To a Reformed church. We came from the Southern Baptist Church, Southern Baptist Convention. They are dispensational. Some people will say they're probably not, and then the rest probably don't even know what it means at that church. But I do. She's learning.
Yeah.
I have not been dispensational for about 20 years now, more or less. But I've been kind of like the black sheep at a Southern Baptist church. It's one of those First Baptist types. Every town's got a First Baptist church and a Second Baptist and a bunch of other Baptists, dispensational type. But where we left at, and I'm not going to disparage the church. I mean, there's good people there, but I don't agree with the Southern Baptist dispensational teaching anymore. So we gone Reform. I'm gonna talk about that later. So Lori, I'm gonna have you start out with our journey from your past, and then I'm talking about my past, and now where we're at right now. So you were a Catholic. So tell us a little bit about that.
I was raised Catholic. My mom was Baptist. My dad was Catholic, but we were raised Catholic. Went to Catholic school from first grade to eighth grade, and went to mass twice a week with the school, and then we went a third time just with our family on Sundays. Well, my dad, my mom wouldn't go. And so I was Catholic till I was 18, and then met a friend at work, and he was talking to me about being saved, and it probably took a year or so for me to kind of figure out what he was talking about, and then I finally converted to Baptist, and then went to Landmark Baptist Church for like 20 years after that.
Your sister was
Sister
Catholic. She became
Baptist as well, yeah, Christian, and then we have an older brother who's still Catholic,
He's
still
Catholic.
practicing Catholic.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah.
But he's still Catholic. So, and you went to the Landmark Church, and you were there since what, about 18, 19 years old?
Yeah.
Maybe, more or
Something
less.
like that, yeah.
And you, when you were going to college, did you go to church much? Or
actually, yeah, I'm trying to remember. We went to mass even after I left the, I guess when I went to mass like once a week, like on Sundays. So after we left the school where we went to mass twice a week, we still went on Sundays. And, we would do the Easter, midnight mass on Christmas Eve and those types of things. And then I went to the Baptist church with a friend of mine, and I did that for like a year or so before I converted. So we did that. And then we went to the Landmark church. We converted. Even after we, became saved, took us like a year after that to get baptized, because we were still like, I don't know about going up in front of the church, and but we did finally do that after about a year. So
okay, and we met at the Landmark Church. Let me tell you how we got there. I was born and raised in Kentucky, and I went to a Southern Missionary Baptist Church. I believe it's in the Southern Baptist Convention. It's a super hardcore dispensational. I don't know if it's hyper dispensational, but it's dispensational, and most people there probably don't understand what that means. If I go back to the church and I say, "You guys sure are dispensational," they was like, "What do you mean? Is that bad?" I'm like, "No, never mind." But when I was not 21, I joined the Air Force, and so I left home. I was no longer around my Southern Missionary Baptist Church. I got to put the missionary in there. Mm-hmm. For those of you that have maybe go to a missionary Baptist church or have been, you know what I mean. So I was in the Air Force, and military has a way of breaking you down and making you worldly. So I went through a worldly spell, but I did try to go to the Air Force chapel services from time to time, especially when I was deployed. The best one I went to was in 2017. It was the liturgical service, and it was like a reform service. It was awesome. So for about 20 years, I started getting away from the dispensational thinking. I wasn't really sure what I was thinking, but I know it wasn't dispensational. No longer the pre-trib rapture. No longer putting Israel as a special nation anymore. I was starting to develop what you call the covenant theology mind frame. And then recently I learned that, hey, I got the reform mind frame. So, but when I came here, 2003, I started going to the Landmark Church. We both been married before, and the woman I married 22 years ago, she was going. Her and her parents, well, mainly her parents. She wasn't cool.
Yeah, but she didn't go very much.
Her parents had me going to a Landmark Church, and it's a Landmark Baptist. It's a particular type of Baptist. I don't have anything to say bad about that church either. But after a while, I was there for 7 years, and me and my wife got divorced, and she had gotten divorced. So we had kind of gotten to know each other after the divorces. Make that clear. And we got to know each other, and we got engaged to get married after I came back from a 6-month trip overseas. And we decided that a lot of our family from our ex-spouses are still at the Landmark Church. So we decided to go to the church where her sister's at. It is a Southern Baptist church. So we went there, and then I want to say, I have no ill feelings towards the Landmark Church. Great church, good people, and I had to say this, and if he's watching, he knows who he is. But one of my best Bible teaching preachers was the preacher at the Landmark Church. He's the one who got me started in Greek and Hebrew and Christian history and better my knowledge. So I did gain a lot of insight from the people at that landmark church. So we went to the Southern Baptist Church, and where sister went. We went there for a while, and it worked out pretty good. And our kids grew up. Our oldest boy got married, and they had grandbabies. And our second boy, he's engaged, and we went from this time last year. We went from having 9 people in the row at that Southern Baptist Church to just 2 of us. Our youngest boy, he's going through the teenage phase. If you got 17, 18, 19-year-old, you know how it is. They want to do what they want to do, and church ain't always what they want to do. So we found ourselves at a church that was really bigger than what we felt comfortable in, and it was just the 2 of us.
And it's a 15-20 minute drive from our house.
Yeah, it's about a 25-minute drive.
It's not terrible, but we're like, it's just us 2 now, so we might as well look for something closer to home.
Let's look for something else. And the only options out there were more Southern Baptist churches and the non-denominational hype-up churches. I'm not disparaging them, but it's just not us.
Nope.
We're older, and we don't like the jumping and shouting and the rock and roll bands. Yeah,
can't do it.
But so we need something. I was like, it would be nice if I had a place that I could go that has the same type of mind frame I have, the Reformed covenant theology, and lo and behold.
And I have a couple of teacher friends that go to this church, and
lo and behold,
we've been talking several months about maybe trying this church out.
And we're in Cabot, Arkansas, and I'm not going to name the churches, but we found the only church in our area that is Reformed Baptist type. They don't call themselves Baptist, but if you're a Reformed Baptist, that's the type of church we go to. We're not Presbyterian. Let me get clear. Mm-hmm. In the Reformed world, there's Presbyterian and there's Baptist. We're over towards the Baptist side. So we decided one day, it was one Saturday, I think I said, why don't we start visiting other churches sometime? And she's like, yep. And I think her exact words was, how about tomorrow? Like, okay, we'll go tomorrow. She said, what about that Reformed church down the street? I was like, okay, let's do it. So we went there, and this has been, last Sunday was like our 6th or 7th Sunday.
Since beginning of March.
So we are sold out. You may say we're Calvinists now, but we don't, even the people at that church, well, for the most part. There's a couple that say, I'll say it, I don't care who's offended. But you can call us Calvinists. That's right. Some of the people don't say that, but it is what it is. And I like it. I love it. It's a Reformed church. And so now I can speak my mind on YouTube and in public, and I ain't got to be worried about being ostracized because I said something. We taught young adult, the college and career class. Let me get it right. College and career at the Southern Baptist Church. And I was always fearful of saying the wrong thing. I had to, okay, now in Mark chapter 13, it says, make sure I don't say the wrong thing. Somebody might get offended and I might get in trouble. So I ain't gotta worry about that no more. I don't plan on being in a teaching role at that church anymore, but I ain't gonna worry about saying what's on my mind. This is the way I think, because they all think the same thing. I'm at a place where we all think alike, and it feels so good. So I kind of knew what we were getting into because I had seen that in the Air Force. The liturgical services they're basically Reformed services. So I knew what we was getting into. She didn't know. Only thing she knows was the Catholic, the Landmark Church, and then the First Baptist. I'm not trying to disparage the Southern Baptist, the First Baptist, but they were getting kind of modern. They had a full band, and sometimes it was kind of loud, and the worship music was more modern than it was Reformed. And I just got, to be honest, I got to where I felt out of place at that church. And I don't think she understood when I said that. I said, I feel out of place. But when the first Sunday you went to that Reformed church, what were your reaction?
I said it was reverent.
Reverent.
It's reverent, serious.
Serious.
That's another good word.
Structured.
Yeah, structured. I want to
They did the Lord's
maybe
Supper every Sunday.
somber, but not like in a sad way. But it's more
Yeah.
of a toned down, focused, and even in the service, they'll do a couple announcements and they'll say, "Okay, let's take a minute and focus because we're going to be, start our worship service." And it's not. It was just like, okay, here we're here to talk about God and we're here to worship and we're gonna get serious.
Then
So
they do call to service, and then that's it. That's the call to service. And you're like, it's serious from there, and then now let's receive the benediction. I was like, I've seen it before in the Air Force, but she's never seen anything like that. And we knew this is it. This is where we belong. This is what we've been looking for. So we are officially Reformed, Calvinist, whatever you want to call it.
After the first Sunday, he was like, "This is what I've been looking for."
This is what I was kind of overwhelmed because I kind of, for a little bit, I kind of had my head down like this. She's like, "You're right." Like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. I am all right. I'm fine. And like I said, those of you watching from the other churches, we're not disparaging you. It's just we fit in here, and especially the excellent teaching pastor at the Landmark Church. You kind of helped me mold my mind, so you're kind of the reason why I'm like I am. But anyway, so that's it. So Lori, I think you got a bunch of schoolwork or something to do.
Yeah.
She's a school teacher, so she's got about an hour of schoolwork to do.
It's Friday after the week of testing, so I'm exhausted, but I have a lot of work to do because the only thing we can do during testing is watch the kids test. So I gotta play catch up.
Right, good job. I'm going. All right, so hey, you just saw another break. It's kind of hard. I'm not an expert videographer, editor. I'm not very good at stuff, so I just took my video from last night and cut it down, and I stopped right where she left, and I did my Bible study. If you want to watch that, I'll leave the video link. It's about the blessing of Abraham from Genesis. How it's about Jesus. The promise that God made to Abraham about blessing the nations of the world is about Jesus. Jesus is the fulfillment of that promise. And that's what I talk about in my video. So if you want to watch it, look it up. I'll leave a reference in the link. So hey, thank you for watching us. And next week we're gonna talk about the importance of children in the marriage. And so we hope to see you there. And so thank you.